I have helped many people make a smooth move to the Greater Lansing, Michigan area. So I wanted to create this video to give you the top 10 questions that I get from people who are looking to make a move to Greater Lansing. And be sure to stay tuned all the way until the end because the last one is the most important. Trust me when I say, like, it is something that if you do not hear it, you will get a huge surprise at the very end and you will not be happy about it. So I'm gonna get started with this new episode of Lansing, Michigan Life right now. If this is your first time to the channel, my name is 𝐿𝐿. I'm a top producing realtor in the Greater Lansing, Michigan area. And like I said earlier, I help people make a smooth move to Greater Lansing, Michigan from all over the country, even all over the world. So whatever your timeline is, I would love to be able to help you. You can talk face-to-face, call, text, email, whatever you prefer. I'm here to be able to help you out. So all my contact information is in the description below. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. I have been thinking about this episode for a while because if you are looking to relocate here at any time within the next few months, you want to see every single point in this video because these are common questions that are probably running through your head, but questions that I've gotten many times when I've done Zoom meetings, when I've gotten emails, texts. So definitely watch this video from beginning to end because this will have some very valuable information for you. Especially if you're an investor watching this, there are a couple here that you just need to be completely aware of. I feel that this is going to be one of the most important episodes that you are going to see out of all the videos I've made. And I made a lot of videos for Greater Lansing, Michigan. I made tons of videos on suburbs and pros and cons and vlog tours. This one kind of summarizes it all. So if you're gonna watch any video, this is the video you are definitely going to watch if you are not familiar with Greater Lansing and you're looking to relocate here. Before I get into my 10 questions, I want to address something first because this is a question that I get from people. I do get a lot of emails from all of you watching this channel, but one common email I get is, hey, can you help me get into an apartment? Can you help me get into a rental? And if you're watching this channel, I just want to let you be aware that in our area, we're about 500,000 people in the Greater Lansing, Michigan area. And with all the realtors that we have in our area, we really don't have a market to help people rent, not like some of the major metropolitan areas within the United States. So if you're coming from a very well-populated area where realtors would help out with renting, that is great. But in Lansing, we typically do not help out with that. We don't get compensated for that. However, I've received lots of emails where I have given many resources to you, and hopefully you can attest to that, those of you who are still watching this. And a lot of this content here is free for you to be able to see. So like, feel free to watch it. Don't feel bad whatsoever. But I wanted you to be able to know if you are looking to potentially rent an apartment, I can give you a couple tips. I can't help you tour some of these areas or I can't help in that process. I would love to, but I can't. Now, if you still want to, keep in touch with me and then eventually you want to be able to move into a house, I'm your guy for that, okay? So just wanted you to be aware of that from the get-go because that is a common question that I get. So without further delay, the most frequently asked questions that I get from people who are looking to relocate here. The first thing is, are the winters really that bad? And I will tell you, well, if you look at the map of Michigan, okay, and this is my map of Michigan, my hand here, okay, Lansing is smack dab in the center. And when people talk about Michigan, they say, oh, it must be brutally cold. And they just assume that that's the entire state and that we just get snow all the time. But I'm telling you, if you live on the west side of the state, which is Grand Rapids, if you go along the lake shoreline and you go all the way up north, which is where Traverse City, Mackinac Island, okay, or even in the Upper Peninsula, the UP, okay, they get tons of snow. They get lots and lots of snow. In Lansing, we don't get as much as they do. So do we get snow? Yes. And this year, the winter was pretty bad in 2026. We had a brutally cold winter. And the older I get, I'm like, I'm not really liking these winters, okay? But just to let you know, okay, as far as winters go in Lansing, are they that bad? They're manageable, they're fine. We don't get snow every single day on average, and we're not as bad as the west side or the north side of the state. So that does give you some peace of mind there. Second question that I get a lot, what if I have a home to sell? So you're coming from another state and you gotta sell your home and you're like, so what do I do, Troy? What do I have to do? Well, if you decide to relocate here you need to get with a loan officer, speak with them, and see what your options are. If you cannot buy a home here without selling your home, then it could be a little tough. Then you got to get that home on the market as soon as possible in your state, get an accepted offer on it, and then move here and try to get something here. That's what's gonna help your offer to win. I'm just letting you know. So if you have a home that you've got to sell, know your options of what you have. You could get with a local lender and they could tell you you could buy a home without having to sell it. Okay, but that's between you and the lender. They do have products that you could do, like a bridge loan, a recast, that can make it very affordable for you to be able to buy a home if you have a home to sell. The other thing I'll tell you too is you need to know your timeline with things. So a lot of times I can be in touch with your agent that you have out of state or out of the area. They will get with me to let me know, hey, if you have an accepted offer on a home, how long are you in the home for? What's your timeline? Because then that helps me when I'm helping you try to find a home here. I know your timeline that you have out there. I can communicate that to the agent, and then I can be sure that you're not gonna be homeless. So communication is key during this time between myself, between the lender, and also the agent that you might have in the other area. So definitely keep that in mind. If you have a home to sell, you gotta have a plan. You gotta kind of figure out, hey, what do I gotta do to not be homeless? What can I do to make the transition as stress-free as possible? And we can definitely talk about those options at a future time on a Zoom call or through email. Third question I get a lot is, what will help me win a deal, Troy? Okay, well, besides like having the highest price, right? So the first thing you need to be aware of, and I've touched on this on the channel, you need to try to use a local lender. And I'm getting close to 10 years with doing real estate, okay? And I have listed a lot of homes. So I know what sellers think, what myself as an agent, what I think. There are certain companies out there that are nationally known companies, national banks, that don't have a good reputation. So if you're coming from a national lender or a lender that list agent might not be familiar with, you know, that house that you're putting an offer on, just be aware that that's what's going on in the listing agent's mind. I know the psychology of what a listing agent goes through because I list homes all the time. So getting with a local lender will help because it will give peace of mind to that seller that, hey, this is a lender we're familiar with, they're reliable. Because if you're with a lender that is not very reliable, don't be surprised if your offer goes to the bottom of the stack. And you could have a great offer, but you might not get that offer if it's not a reliable lender. You gotta make sure your pre-approval shows certain things on it to be sure that people are okay with it. Now, this isn't a competitive offer situation. Now, if you're the only offer, that could look different. The other thing also that you need to be aware of is you need to be flexible with your timeline of when you want to get in. Right now, people are expecting to live in their home for a certain number of days after closing. So you have to be flexible and willing to be able to let the seller get what they are desiring, maybe some additional time after closing. And myself as an agent, like I find that stuff out, I let you know to try to make the best offer. Okay, so some tips for you in that. Okay, the fourth question I get a lot is, what can you tell me about school of choice? You probably have heard about school of choice if you have kids that are also moving with you. And if you look on the internet, there's just a lot of information out there. This is why I will tell you about school of choice. If you want to be in a certain school district, you need to be able to purchase your home in that school district to be guaranteed to go to that school. That's gonna be the best case scenario for you. Because the way school of choice works is every single year around March, April, there will be a list of vacancies in each school in each grade. They will send that out. Then you can apply as a parent to be in that school. And what they do is they take all the applications, they put them in a lottery. It's a random drawing. There's certain priorities for certain people too, like if they have a brother and sister that is also in the school district, or if they have a parent that might be working there, like they have other priorities too. But then it's kind of like a lottery, and you're not guaranteed to be able to get in there. So no matter what you hear about, hey, it's school of choice, I can choose wherever I want to go, the school has to have openings. So the way that you're guaranteed to get into that school district is by purchasing your home in that school district. And I do talk about it in a video, the top 5 school systems in Lansing. I do touch on school of choice and what that's about if you want to look at it more in depth. The fifth question I get is, how's the traffic in Lansing? What I will tell you, traffic is extremely light. If you look at a map of Lansing, okay, and here's my hand map again, okay, we're right here in the center. It's almost like the interstates are, you get a C right here. This is like 96 and 69. Then you put a line straight down with the C, that's 127. And then in the middle of the C, there's a bypass, 496. So we are surrounded by 70-mile-an-hour interstates. Yes, there's a lot of construction, but a lot of interstates where you can travel 70 miles an hour, which means that if it takes you 45 minutes to get somewhere, more than likely, it's gonna be like 60 miles away. It's gonna be a long ways away. If you're coming from major cities, you're like, it takes me 45 minutes to get to work, but I only travel 5 miles, okay? In Lansing, you will travel a long distance, a longer distance, but you'll be able to get where you wanna go within 20, 25 minutes a lot of the time. If you're right in the smack dab center of Lansing, you can get anywhere you need to go within 15 to 20 minutes. It's great. So traffic is very light, but asterisk, watch out for construction, because right now there are so many construction projects happening, so many detours that can make your commute go a little bit longer. There's an inconvenience from about April until, depending on how long the project is, September, October, November. So just be aware of that. But for the most part, especially when they get done with these big projects, traffic is going to be amazing. And you're gonna be like, this is fantastic. And I've heard many people who have visited here who have come from major cities where traffic is horrible. They're like, we love this traffic. Number 6 question that I get a lot is, how much does it cost to build a new home? So right now, depending on who you build with, it's around $200 to $250 a square foot for you to build a 2-story home. And on average, it's around $300 to $350 a square foot to build a ranch home. Some of the more custom ones, you guys, they're starting to be over $400 a square foot. Yes, so 1,000 square foot home, if you're building something really fancy schmancy, $400,000. And so I tell people, if you're going to live in Lansing for a while, definitely get into new construction. Also, cheaper does not always mean better, because you kind of get what you pay for. You get a cheaper new build home, it's not gonna last you as long. And there could be some problems and some issues with some of the warranties. So it kind of gives you an idea if you do the math, $200 to $250 for a 2-story, $300 to $350 for a ranch. Number 7, this is for the investors or parents of college students. Is it easy to invest in East Lansing, especially if I have a kid going to MSU? So this is what I'll tell you. I have a video that I made when I first started making videos called Beware of East Lansing. Look for it, it's one of my oldest videos if you search my library. I have a big thumbs down, Beware of East Lansing. It talks about the rental rules in East Lansing, because in college towns, they have created rules to make sure that houses are not inundated with a bunch of renters. So they had to create some very strict rules in order to do this. So is it easy? Not so much. So you can't depend on buying a residential home for your kid that might be going to MSU and being able to rent it out to 3 or 4 friends. You can't do that, okay? If you're trying to look for that cheaper way of being able to not have your kid live on campus, you might wanna look for an alternate place outside of East Lansing. But that's not gonna be ideal to your kid, because they're going to wanna be close to East Lansing and close to the university. So no, it's not so simple to be able to do that. And right now there's a lot of competition for investors, and the only way that you can have more than 2 people renting and living in a place is if it's a grandfathered in rental license that already exists. That's the only way you can do it. You can't apply for anything new. So just for you to be aware, definitely if you're an investor or you're a parent of an MSU student watching this, you need to watch that video. It is so important for you to understand the rules. Beware of East Lansing is that video. If you search for oldest in the search bar, that will be the video you wanna see. Number 8 question I get, aren't basements dangerous and risky in Michigan? Or what's the deal with basements in Michigan? Because you're coming from maybe Florida or Texas or out in the West Coast. Like I've even heard Oklahoma as well, because I have somebody I'm working with Oklahoma. A lot of you are living in homes that are on a slab. There is no basement, or it could be a crawl space as well. And so what do you do with your storage? You store everything primarily in your garage. In Michigan, homes are built with basements. And the older homes, yes, the older homes, during heavy rains, there can be some water in them, some seepage. Sometimes they can flood. Okay, we've had tons of rain right now in East Lansing. So I'm not saying it's never going to flood, but there are plenty of basement waterproofing companies, plenty of people that do sump pumps throughout here. It's a common theme. Why is that? Well, think about Michigan and our weather and just our climate, okay? If you have a place to store your stuff in a basement, that's going to be valuable so that you can use your garage for your car when it snows outside and it gets extremely cold. You don't have to scrape. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You have a garage so you can go inside and it's usually insulated, right? So garages are valuable for people to have in Michigan. They're not storage spaces. And so that's why many homes have basements. Many homes have livable spaces with basements. They've done a great job being able to waterproof a lot of the current homes right now. So people enjoy having that additional living space as well in Michigan. They are a valuable thing. So if you're looking for a home that's similar to the one that you have where you are on a slab, that actually doesn't appreciate as much in Michigan. So be aware of that, okay? Number 9 question that I get, and this is definitely a very common one, what's the market like? So the last several years, it is a seller's market, and homes that are in a good condition, that are priced well, and are marketed well, they are flying. Now, I'm not meaning to discourage you, okay? If your timeline to move here is March through middle of June into July to be able to make a move here, it is going to be competitive, okay? Now, there are some windows where if you are flexible with your timeline, you might be able to get a better deal on a house. That would be August and September because people are back in school. And if you don't care really about school year, and you're flexible with your timeline, August and September is a good time to be able to reach out to me and be like, hey, want to start looking for a home? Or December, January as well. You might be able to find a deal during that time. And parts of February too, if it's extremely cold. So if you are flexible in your timeline, that will help you get a better deal. But our inventory right now, it's at like a third of what it should be in a balanced real estate market. Usually we have around 2,000 homes that need to be on the market for it to be a balanced market. We are at close, like right now in end of April, early May of 2026, we are at around 600 homes that are active on the market without an accepted offer. Let that sink in, okay? Last thing, and I told you this is the most important, this is the one I hear all the time, and this is the thing that people tell me that they are so appreciative that they hear on this channel, and if this is your first time watching it, or your first time hearing this is going to be so valuable for you to know. Like the question I get is, what's the most important thing you think I should know about buying a home? And in Michigan, the thing you need to know is the tax law that we have in Michigan. The tax law, the property tax law. Why is that so important, Troy? Well, let me give you for instance. You move here, you go on Zillow, you look and you see how much the taxes are currently for the current year. They might show that they're like $4,000 and you're looking to buy a $400,000 home, let's say in Okemos. So you want to buy a $400,000 home in Okemos, you're looking at these property taxes, you're like, wow, it's like $4,000 or $5,000 for the year to be able to buy a home. And so then you think to yourself, like when you do your closing costs, you get with a lender. Now a local lender will be able to tell you this, is why it's also important. But if you have like a lender that's not a local lender, they'll just roll those taxes into your closing costs. You'll pay a prorated amount at closing and you'll think, these are what my taxes are gonna be. This is great. Until your tax bill comes for the following year. Because what's gonna happen is the taxing authority is going to take half of your purchase price, which if it's $400,000, they're gonna make $200,000 your new taxable value. Congratulations. So what happens, especially in Okemos, is if you have $200,000 taxable value, your taxes are going to be $10,000 to $11,000 for the year. And what happens is people get this huge surprise in the mail to find out my taxes are going up to what? And you know what you put in your escrow account with your mortgage, or even if you pay with cash, you just had an idea of what the taxes would be at for the current year. You didn't realize what they would be the next year. See how much they went up. You're like, wow, can I even afford this anymore? And so you were looking at these higher end homes because you felt like, hey, Michigan is a great deal because, hey, the average home prices are less. Yes, that is true, but you had to keep in mind the taxes for your monthly budget. That is key. I've had people watch this channel who felt that they could afford a higher priced home until they realized, oh, this is what the taxes are, and they had to lower the purchase price of the home they were going to purchase, okay? So this is a big deal. This is extremely important. So it's important for you to get with an agent that's going to tell you this stuff, who is going to tell you, hey, if you're looking at this home, right now the taxes are this, but this is what they're going to be, so that you don't get that letter the following year and that your jaw drops to the floor because you are in shock because of how high the taxes are going to be. You guys, this is a real thing. And then City of Lansing, they have, you might not be looking at City of Lansing, but City of Lansing, they are in top 20 in the nation for the highest tax millages. East Lansing is up there as well too. And so even in Okemos, I have people paying $20,000 a year in property taxes. For some people, it's a way of life because they're used to it in Michigan, but if you're coming from an area where property taxes were not that high, that's going to be a concern. So get with me if you have any more questions on the property taxes. And before you have an idea of how much you want to spend on a house, you need to get with an agent before you start looking and start committing to home prices, because we can help you be able to make this move as smooth as possible for you so there are no surprises, so that you do like living in Lansing. So again, I told you guys this was going to be an important video. Top 10 things that you need to know. I hope this was beneficial to you. If at any time you're looking to make a move here, you know how to get in contact with me. My contact information is in the description below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when a brand new episode of Lansing, Michigan Life goes live. And we have new episodes going live once or twice a week. Again, I hope this was extremely informative. I look forward to speaking with you at some point when you look to make a move here. And until next time, everybody, take care, make it a great day, and I'll see you on the next episode.